Karina, thank you so much for doing this.
Yes, you're welcome.
I really appreciate you taking the time. I had questions about your life and career
Love
and
that.
why. I love it too. I love getting to know people and their story. I honestly do.
It's interesting.
It is very interesting.
Yeah.
I interviewed Caitlin the other day. She knows John Bon Jovi. I had no idea. And, right?
That's actually crazy.
And I got his name right. I wasn't like, Gary, you know Gary Bon Jovi? And she's, anyway. But yeah, and how you got to the point in your career that you are right now and basically what led to it. And if I could take a couple steps back and ask, where were you born?
I was born in Newport Beach, California.
California, that's right.
The same hospital as Bill Dignite. Just a couple years after him.
Really? Just a couple of years?
I think it's a couple, maybe a few, I'm not sure.
I thought he was 80. I'm sorry, I'm just kidding. That's why you edit, I'm sorry. And,
Okay.
yeah, so I didn't know that either. The things you learn about
It's
people.
just a little trivia fact for you.
Right.
In case you ever were curious about that.
And we play trivia, and that could be asked.
That could be asked. I don't think anyone's gonna know that. I don't even know if he knows that. We've talked about it many times. But...
Bill, did you know that if you ever see this, you were born in the same hospital as Karina?
Yeah. Yes. We've talked about it many times, but you know, we're busy people.
Sure.
Yeah.
And the last thing you need is me emailing about interviews. I understand. So.
It's fine. I mean, I like
true,
this.
but it's fun.
I'm
But it's fun,
having
right?
fun.
Once you're in the space. Yeah.
It feels good.
I'm annoying.
It feels right.
And that's so good. And then after, so let's go forward from your birth. And here you are today. That's all the time we have. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. So where did you did you go to high school in California?
I did. Yeah, I grew up in Southern California.
Okay, and
my
now
whole life, my whole childhood life was there.
whole childhood life in California.
Yeah, we didn't move like you did. I know you said you moved several times.
I moved several times. It's not about me. And then
But it can be. Let's turn this around on you.
I'm in the hot seat. Okay.
No, actually, it's about me.
Yeah, absolutely. So and then when was it college that took you away from California? Was it this wonderful university that took you away from California?
No. Well, yes, later.
Oh, later.
Later in life.
Okay.
Yeah. But the first thing, well, I went to a lot of summer intensives when I was growing up. So I spent every summer away from California. So it wasn't yeah, like I went to New York a lot for like 6 weeks at a time to do like these summer camps for ballet, to like intensively train. So that was like maybe the first thing that brought me away. And then college, yeah, I went to the University of Utah for college.
I didn't know that either. I need to do research. And I know.
You're such a good interviewer.
Thank you so much. This is my 7th time doing.
Oh.
Yeah, anyway, the University of Utah, how was it living in, because Utah is not that far. I mean, this is obviously further away from California than Utah, but how was, like, I've never been, but I've heard it's beautiful.
It's actually stunning.
Yeah.
It's in Salt Lake.
Salt Lake City?
Yeah, it's a 10-hour drive from where I grew up, so it's not that far. Like, really easy. Yeah.
Long drive,
easy flight.
Long drive, easy flight.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
I feel like that should be a bumper sticker or something. Long drive, easy flight. We're onto something. So, yeah. Is it not a good idea?
Make it a bumper sticker.
If anyone's watching who can do that, just don't.
Don't.
We're gonna, dumb idea. I was gonna call this Why Acting. Is that also a dumb idea?
Not dumb. You can do better.
I can do better.
Yeah.
We're gonna think more about that.
We'll workshop it.
Yeah. So then after you got your undergraduate in Utah, and then what brought you to the good old Upper Peninsula?
Well, there's a lot that happened in between there, John.
Well, may I hear about it?
Yeah. So, because like I graduated when I was 20.
From college?
Yeah.
That's impressive.
I did it in 3 years.
Did you start, like when you were in high school, did you take some classes to get ready?
No, I stayed for summers and I worked really hard.
You would have to. I would imagine.
I did a lot, during the summertime so that I could, like 2 summers equaled 1 year, my senior year. So I just did that because I wanted to get out and audition like as soon as I could for companies.
Huh.
I didn't want to not waste, that's a silly word, but like I didn't want to spend another year paying for college.
Use the time wisely.
Yeah, I was like, as soon as I can get out and audition and get a job, the better.
You're just like so you were just from the start. I mean, basically, hard working and tunnel vision.
Just like tunnel vision. I didn't care about anything else, which I regret a little bit, I will say.
But now you're a dancer and you teach it, and I saw Alice in Wonderland. I saw it. I was there, and
skipping. I can't tell the story about everything that I did in between college and here. Just let me.
I skipped ahead.
Okay, so while I was in college, I also was a trainee with Ballet West, which was a ballet company in Utah, the ballet company in Utah.
Yeah.
Very, very good. So while I was doing my schoolwork there, I was also going and taking class and doing rehearsal with the company.
Oh.
As what they call a trainee or an apprentice. Trainee is like under apprentice. It's like trainee, apprentice, second company, then like full company. So I was like the lowest of the low. But it was still an opportunity for me.
You started there and worked your way. Yeah.
Well, not in that company. Backtrack. So I was a trainee. And I was doing that. And then from there, they hired me on because someone got injured. And so they were like, we need someone right now to be in this show. So they hired me for like basically like a gig to like do 6 weeks contract with the company as a company member, which was like huge, like really big deal. And it was my like third paid job as a dancer, which is a big deal. And I was very excited about it. But then because they're AGMA, which is the union, it's a dancer union.
Oh, the dancer union.
Yeah.
Okay.
They could not then hire me after that contract was over. They couldn't hire me at a rank lower than what they had hired me for.
I see.
So basically, part of me feels like I shouldn't have accepted that contract because then I could have maybe been hired on like at a lower level, but for the full season. Because a ballet season is like an academic season. It goes from like September, sometimes earlier, August to May. That's a whole contract. You're getting paid every week. Yeah. So I took the higher paying 6-week contract without really knowing that I was like not then going to be able to be hired for a longer contract at like a lower rank.
Live and you learn, it's like
live and you learn. It felt like kind of shitty at the time, but I graduated, and then I spent my year, what would have been my senior year, I spent that whole year auditioning.
Okay.
And I auditioned for I flew all over the country. I flew to all these different places to audition for all these different companies, blah, blah, blah. Long story short, I got a job at Smiwin Ballet, which is a contemporary company in San Francisco. And that was
Back to California.
Yeah.
Did you find yourself like you kind of missed it and you wanted to work in California?
I think I wanted to, and I wanted to be closer to family.
Yeah.
Look at me now, as far as you could get.
Yeah.
But that's a whole nother story. So I went to San Francisco, danced there for a year, and then went to Sacramento Ballet and did 3 years there. And that was basically, then I met my husband and retired in Sacramento.
In Sacramento, okay. May I hear the story of what led you here?
Yeah, so I had a career, I had a dance career in California, which I had prior danced. While I was in college, I danced at Aspen Santa Fe Ballet and Ballet West. And then when COVID hit.
Yeah.
And Ivor and I had already retired at that point, but had just retired. I was still kind of dancing on and off with the company, doing, again, kind of gig type stuff where I would just go and dance for one show. I didn't do the whole season. And we also started this company, which you see all these posters for. It's called Capital Dance Project.
I was making sure we could see that on the camera. We can.
A little bit. Yeah. And we started that company, which was a project company.
What am I under?
You're under all of them.
Sorry, it does, anyway.
Yeah, they're different years.
Oh, I see.
Different seasons of the same company.
I gotcha.
So we did that for 5 years. where we were putting on our own shows.
I gotcha.
Choreographing, dancing, all of that. Anyway, then COVID hit. I was teaching dance at the time, just at like studios around. And I was working at a brewery that Ivor was working at as a graphic designer. He was the master brewer there. And then everything shut down. I found out I was pregnant.
COVID, and then you find out you're having a baby.
And then like it was like 2 weeks after we got the lockdown. And then I had the positive pregnancy test, and I was like, cool. What do we do?
Yeah.
We don't have jobs, and we don't know when they're gonna come back. Right? Remember that time when we didn't know?
Remember that fun time where they didn't let us leave our houses?
And I actually didn't mind that part so much.
Well, you know what? That part was good because I was yeah.
But then but the job part was scary.
You had to know where the money was coming in. Yeah.
Not knowing when that was gonna come back, and so we had always talked about moving to the Midwest because Ivor is from Chicago area.
Okay. Yeah.
And his parents live here now. They retired up here in Marquette. And so we had come and visited like 3 times before, like not much. And I loved it. I thought it was awesome. There was 2 times in the summer and 1 time in the winter. So
how'd you feel
this is also, I've never really experienced real winter before. Salt Lake is like, nah, it's fine.
How'd you feel about your winter visit?
Didn't mind it.
Really? Okay.
It kind of felt like, it was like, oh, this is cute. Like, oh, I like this. This is different. I feel differently now, but
yeah.
But I still don't hate it. Like,
right.
I actually quite love it. But anyway, we sold our house. We were like, well, let's just put our house on the market and see what happens.
And it
sold immediately.
Well, yeah, that's what was happening at least then. And
people were like leaving.
I need to quit my job and buy a house.
Yeah. It was kind of scary.
Because that's always a good thing to do, right?
Always a good thing to do. Always a good thing. Yeah.
Right, but you had buyers pretty quickly, and then
and they were like, oh, okay, I guess we should pack up our stuff and move.
Yeah.
We had talked about Marquette. I had actually emailed Jill 3 months prior, in January, just out of the blue. I was just like, we're looking at Marquette, maybe in the 5-year kind of
range
plan. Mm-hmm. What is your dance program like? Would you ever think of needing another dance teacher? Blah blah blah. She basically was like, when can you get here? And I was like, oh, well, this is I don't know. This is 3 to 5 years. I just wanted to reach out.
Yeah.
And she was like, okay, yeah, of course. Just reach out to me when you guys feel ready. 2 months later, COVID. And I was like, I'm ready.
Hey, Jill, I think I'm going to come now.
Actually, I just sold my house.
Right.
We're packing up the U-Haul now. I'm driving across the country. What do you say?
May I come work with you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, it kind of worked out nicely. And
wow.
She was just like, yeah, I mean, so I spent a year adjuncting, just teaching a couple classes here in that first year when my first year as a mom as well.
Right.
We moved here in May 2020 and had Juniper in November 2020. And
November what?
November 2020.
No, but
November 9th.
November 9th.
Yes.
No, that's what I'm making this about me again, guys. I have 2 November babies. Sorry.
We have so many November birthdays too.
Yeah.
But anyway, so then we moved here and I started working here, and a year later I was working full time here.
That's amazing. And yeah, Jill makes things happen.
She does.
Wow, that was so then it ended up being 3 to 5 years is when you want to move here, and then COVID happened and you're like,
it was more
we're
4
leaving
months.
We're leaving today.
Yeah.
And it was yeah. Well, that's how it was for that was just a very anxiety induced time, other than not leaving the house was fine, but then it's when you need money.
Yeah.
And then but yeah, no, that's nuts. And can you talk about what was the first thing, because I know that you've been teaching ever since you came here, but what was the first show that you directed here?
Directed or choreographed?
Let's go with choreographed.
Different. Yeah, so choreographed was I think it was 2021, October 2021.
Okay.
And Jill was putting on a Collab Collective show, which was what Collab Company was before. It was called Collab Collective, and it was just a dance show. But any of the dance majors, or I think she was taking certain students who wanted to choreograph and like putting on a show for them to show their work and collaborate with different art forms and whatever. And so she asked if I wanted to do something for that.
Wow.
And so I did, and I made that painting for it.
You made that painting?
Yeah.
We're gonna show it. We're gonna show it before it ends. I don't. If that's all right.
If you've ever been in my office, you have seen it before.
But if you haven't, then we don't have to. I don't know.
Later.
But yeah, that's so cool.
So I did a painting, and I had it filmed. It filmed me painting it. That was then projected on the psych.
Was it like
while they danced in front of it?
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, it was called "Je suis un cactus."
Not even gonna try to say that. Je suis un cactus.
Yeah, it just means I am a cactus.
In French.
In French,
yeah.
That was the name of the song.
Je suis un cactus. I am a cactus?
Yeah.
What's that story?
I don't know, maybe we should
Whoever
listen
wrote
to it
that,
later.
Can you explain?
I think her name was Camille.
Okay.
She's a French artist.
Still.
Look it up on Spotify.
Yeah, I had...
It's a great song. It's great.
I believe it. Now I'm just kind of curious as to like...
Why?
Why do you feel like a cactus?
Well, I think she does talk about it in the lyrics, but honestly, it was 2021 and I don't remember.
And it was in French?
And it was in French.
Yeah.
So.
That's going to be tough to get to the bottom of, but I'm sure we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And then, what was your like first, so then have you basically just been choreographing and then like you directed recently, or did you direct a show?
The first show I directed was the year after that, was our first year of Collab Dance Company. So I
see.
Yeah, I asked Jill and Bill, I said, I want to start a dance company. And they were like, do whatever, yeah, do it.
Wow,
So then I started that, and that first February was when we did our first show that I directed and choreographed for.
Sorry, you said February of 22.
22, no.
21.
23, no. Oh my God, 23.
February of 23.
Must have been.
I remember when...
Must have been. Yeah. Yeah, because I'm getting them confused with North Coast Dance Festival too.
I see. Yeah.
Also, I think we did a North Coast Dance Festival before that I choreographed for, and then we did Collab after that.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, my first year here was 2022, and I remember when 2023 hit, seeing the advertisements for Collab, and I just thought that was something that's like always been around because I didn't do research again, and I did not know that that you started that.
Yeah.
But you literally was like,
that was the first year.
I want to start this company.
Uh-huh.
And now, how many? Do you know how many people are in the?
It started out with 13. That first year.
That started out strong then.
And then we moved to 34, I believe, the second year.
Yeah.
Which was just last year. And then this year, I have narrowed it down to 15 again. And I think I'm going to keep it at 15.
Keep it around 15.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's more manageable. Yeah.
So then, if we can fast forward a little bit, when you started to direct Alice in Wonderland, and then how did that? I mean, I know it was on the schedule, or it was on the list for this year. How? Did you say you were interested in that, or did they just say, Karina, this is all you, or how did that happen?
Well, it started with, I don't know if you noticed, I have a whiteboard on my door.
I did see that.
Yeah, and it's starting again. It's restarting. You'll read it when you leave. But it started exactly how it just is, like on my whiteboard right now, with Lex writing on it an idea, and he wrote immersive dance Alice in Wonderland.
When was that he wrote?
It was like 2 years ago, I think.
Oh, this was a long time.
Yeah. Well, because like it spent a year just on my whiteboard. It spent a year just like on there. I don't erase things very often, and it was just on there. And he was like, "That would be cool," and I was like, "Sure, it would be cool."
Wow. So
and then it came up at our faculty meeting when we were trying to decide the season for this year. Last year when we were deciding the seasons for this year, we were like, what should Collab do? And we were like, what about an immersive dance Alice in Wonderland? And I was like, you can't just keep thinking about it. You gotta just eventually you just gotta do it.
Yeah. I remember when you asked me to do the voices, making it about me, I'm sorry. And then...
Is this how all your interviews go?
Basically, yeah.
I like it.
You do like it?
I do, I think it's funny.
Really?
Yeah.
Aw, well thank you. And you know that she's telling the truth because she's blunt and honest, and I love that, so I like that you like it. Okay, so I remember when you asked me to do the voices, and I was kind of confused because I've never done something like that, but I've always wanted to do voice acting. And so like, as I was doing it, I was basically, because I remember you told me to act like I'm reading it to like my kids.
Yeah.
And I feel like I failed at that.
Why? Why do you say that?
Because when I was in I almost said studio, but when I was in Dominic's office and I was like recording it, I basically just like went crazy and I like.
You just had inspiration in the moment and you went for it.
That's exactly what happened because I didn't like know what I was gonna do, but then as I was doing it, I was like, I think the character sounds like this.
Yeah.
And then I don't know. That's basically how my whole life is.
Sure.
I'm a very poor planner, but you know what? Getting better, and
let's work on it.
Yeah, let's
work on it. It's something we can work on.
What did we say earlier? You live and you learn.
You live and you learn.
You live and you learn. And then, so when you directed that, first of all, what do you think of the voices when you heard them?
They were great.
Thank you. And then when you directed it, how long from start to finish, from the beginning of the process until the performance? Several months.
No. I got the music on November 1st.
Yeah, okay.
And then we had to go through some edits. So then I started choreographing on like, I think the 14th or like mid-November, like right before Thanksgiving was when we first started choreographing it. And then we went on Thanksgiving break for a week. Then we came back and we were in tech for Home for the Holidays. So then I didn't touch it again. We went through Home for the Holidays and then we had winter break. So then I didn't touch it. We didn't touch it again until our 3-day boot camp the week before school got back.
Were you just thinking about it during winter break?
Oh my God, John, my winter break was so stressful.
Mine was too, but for different reasons. But yeah, like, I believe that it was like you.
Because I did boot camp for JCS. The week it was like, so I had 2 weeks off, and then we had boot camp for JCS on the 3rd week, and then boot camp for Alice in Wonderland on the 4th week, and then we were back at school on Monday.
I see. Yeah, that's.
So winter break I was choreographing all of JCS, and then maybe thinking about Alice, but it was really difficult to be like going back and forth between JCS and Alice because they're very different.
Right. Well, yeah.
And so anyway, yeah. So then we had boot camp. We had 3 days of all-day boot camp for Alice, and I got most of it done. There was like maybe, I think I didn't finish Mad Hatter and the finales, and that was it. And so then we had a week and a half before we went into tech to finish.
Got it. Jeez. Yeah.
So I would say we maybe had a total of like 4 weeks to choreograph Alice.
All of that. That was around an hour, right?
It was 45 minutes, almost on the dot.
Yeah. Well, okay.
Yeah.
So I remember seeing it, and I had never been there before.
To the Vera?
Correct.
Yeah.
I had never been there before, and this is an embarrassing story that people might enjoy hearing.
Let's listen to a story about John.
I went to the bottom.
Oh, you went to the line, yeah?
Told you it was embarrassing. Because I literally walked in and I was like, this isn't Alice. And then I was like, okay, hi, bye.
You didn't see the sign that said go up?
No, so I tried getting it. I can read. It can't read. And
you're graduating college, like,
well, some things
really soon.
You live and you learn.
Or you don't learn.
Eventually. But. And no, I did see, because the one door was locked. I guess I got there too early.
Oh.
But then I ended up taking the elevator, and then I got there. It's still early.
Maybe our user experience was not.
No,
great. Most people found it. I think you might be a little bit of an anomaly here.
Look, I found it.
Okay.
It
just took a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's fine. It's fine. It was an adventure.
It was, you know what? It was an adventure. And the show was an adventure because I immediately walked in and I was like, where do I sit? And then I quickly realized that's the whole point of it.
Is not sitting.
Well, not, and then you like move around during it and everything else. And like, I sort of knew what to expect because people did tell me that, like, yeah, they sort of guide you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was also signs and there was also an announcement that was made about that.
We don't have to, all right.
Anyway, so John liked it a lot. He liked the show a lot.
I did like Alice. And it was interesting hearing you talk about directing it because I did not know that it was only 4 weeks.
It was about that.
To choreograph, the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, I enjoyed it quite a bit. And I really appreciate your time.
Is that it?
Well, we got from your birth to now.
Okay, sure, yeah.
How has life been since Alice?
Well, that closed last week, right? I think it was...
Alice closed last week.
No, 2 weeks.
Yeah. Two weeks ago.
Yeah, it feels like forever ago.
It does kind of feel like a while ago. Strangely.
Yeah, we're already getting started on next February's show.
Right. So, and we made that announcement. What's the show that you're like, I don't know if I want to ask. How do I want to ask this? What's the show you're most excited about for next season?
My show.
Which is?
Which is I'm creating a 30-minute dance piece to all Johnny Cash music.
That sounds actually, I like Johnny Cash.
Do you? That didn't sound, I didn't.
You don't think I jam out to Walk the Line? Well, I do.
Okay.
So.
I hope to hear you listening to it on your way out.
Burning Ring of Fire.
Yeah.
I absolutely will be.
Okay.
You think I just lied to you?
You just named the two most popular Johnny Cash
Okay, well, his version of Hurt is amazing as well.
I'm using that one too! High five!
Let's do this. You think I just lied and said I don't like him? Or that I do like him?
I don't know, maybe. I just, people say the craziest things.
Have you seen Joaquin Phoenix's performance of Johnny Cash?
I have. It's pretty phenomenal.
Oscar.
Didn't he win?
He won like a Golden Globe or something. I thought it was an Oscar-worthy performance.
I thought he won it.
I thought he won the Golden Globe.
Oh, okay, well, we'll have to look it up after this.
Can we pull that up? I don't have anybody working for us.
We just have a PSN.
Only the paintings over there,
which you will see.
Right, exactly. No, I think that, so, didn't even know that.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, I need to do research, and that's amazing. So it's 30 minutes of dancing all to Johnny Cash music.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. How are you gonna dance to Hurt? That's a very slow...
That's the first thing we're working on Friday.
Just like
I'm so excited for that one.
Very slow...
Slow, but, like, passionate.
Yes. Because when... Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like... My favorite thing about dance is sometimes turning words into movement. Taking his words, and also Johnny Cash, his verse is just so powerful and such a story that he's telling that it inspires me immediately to start moving to it, to create feeling with just movement. It's very inspiring to me. I think it's very interesting. More so, I don't get me wrong, I love classical music and I love instrumental, but turning words and interpreting it in just with your body is what I love to do.
That sounds like I could cry watching that performance.
You will.
Because believe me, you will.
You will. And you better come.
Yeah, and cry?
Yeah.
Okay, I will arrive and cry. And I will, so, well, now there's pressure, so now I have to arrive, and then I won't force myself to cry.
I will see tears at the end.
That's intimidating.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You will.
And I think so is it 9 Inch Nails who did the original? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then I heard a story, I don't know if it's true, because I don't know if it's true, and then that when they heard Johnny Cash's version, they basically were like, yeah, that's your song now.
Did they? I don't know that. I should do my research.
Well, they...
Actually.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe.
No, and then when they heard it, essentially, I don't know how it goes with, I don't know if there's, copyrights, but no, they basically were like, we're gonna step back, because, well, it's just
their version is cool, too.
Their
Obviously,
version
it's
is so...
original, but...
Because I love both versions, and they're so different.
Yeah.
They're, on both ends of the... Because I feel like Nine Inch Nails is basically like very manic. You're like about to like commit suicide, basically.
Yeah.
And then Johnny Cash is just like, I accept what happened.
Yeah, I mean he sang it or like did it after June died, right?
Yeah, that.
So like it had a whole different meaning for him, I think, than how they originally had planned for, and it took on like a whole nother story.
Because when I heard him sing it, I thought he wrote it.
Oh, me too.
And then I was like, who is Nine Inch Nails? I don't even know.
yeah. Well, and I only know because Ivor used to listen to Nine Inch Nails when he was a teen.
Got it.
Very angsty, emo teen. And
I didn't know that either.
And yeah, you should interview him. That would be interesting.
I will.
But yeah, so we listened to it like back when I first told him. I was like, I think I'm gonna use Hurt, and he was like, that's not his song, and I was like, wait, what?
Right. And
it just sounds so like the way he sings it. It sounds like he wrote it.
It does sound like he wrote it. And I think that when you sing something that well like he did, it sounds like it's essentially your song.
Yeah.
And
he kind of owned it.
He did own it. And then that was shortly before he passed away. I think, I mean,
I need to do my research.
I think he died in 2003. If I'm wrong, I apologize. But no, that sounds, is that going to be like, are you opening with that? Or?
No, it's going to be somewhere in the middle. It's like towards the end. We're going to come to that point, and then we'll pick it back up again with some more, with some like Jackson and some like.
As in Michael? I don't know. Yeah, Michael Jackson?
No. Johnny Cash and June Carter are singing Jackson the song.
I've never heard that one. I guess I'm not a real fan because I've literally only heard like maybe 7 songs. But
Sure. And you named 3 of them.
I sure did name 3 of them.
That I am using.
Am I putting 3 that you are using?
Yeah, I'm using Walk the Line. We're opening with Walk the Line.
Because you gotta.
And then somewhere in there is Ring of Fire, and then Hurt is after Ring of Fire, and then we have a couple. And then we're going to end with Man in Black.
Do I only know 3 songs? I've heard more. Anyway, I guess I'm not a real fan.
Sure.
But
Sam was right. It's fine.
I never said I was a fan of his. I said I love Johnny Cash because Hurt made me cry.
Okay, fine. Well, you're going to come and see the show and you're going to be like, oh, I am a fan because look at how great Karina moved people to his words.
So here's my only thing, right? What if after I graduate I book a really big time movie and then I'm not around here anymore?
You're just gonna come back in February.
Right.
Yeah.
Guys, I have to stop shooting. There's this Johnny Cash thing. I'll explain later.
I mean, like you'll come back for Christmas.
I'll come back for Christmas?
Yeah.
What if my whole family moves with me? Then there's like.
Okay. Well, we'll talk about it.
We'll talk.
We'll talk.
Most likely, I'll be there for the thing.
I love all the seniors. They're all like, I'm hopefully not going to be there for that, which we also hope for. We also hope that you guys are all.
It's a mutual.
All gone, off, spread your wings, and fly away.
Well, yeah, my wings are a bit older, but I can still spread the wings and fly away.
Oh hell yeah, you can.
And no, because I do want to stick. I do want to stick around.
Yeah. I know because we talked about this before. One of our mornings together.
I don't have a good memory.
One of our mornings together before Dance Experience, you told me all about how you're probably going to stick around and you're going to work at a radio.
Yes, I didn't get that job, but no, we're gonna. They never called back. And
why didn't you call them?
Yeah, well, because I had a bad feeling about the way it ended.
Sure, we can talk about it later.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. Great radio place. Not dissing them. They just weren't interested. And no, I'm sticking around because I want to do audiobooks and voice acting. And the good thing is you can do that remotely. So I don't have to go off to New York or LA. We'll jump from a place that we were to that's why you edit. And people are like, what did they say? We're like, don't worry, I won't put that in there. I'm not going to make it to graduation. So I really appreciate Thank you for taking the time today. It was fun. This was one of the funnest. I'm not even joking. Jimmy's was fun. No, this was fun.
Good.
Yeah, thanks for riffing, like a human.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, anytime.
Some people's stories are like. All right, thank you guys. We'll be back with Oh wait, you guys want to see the painting? I don't know how to end episodes.